I used to kick it at the Panorama Mall up here in LA, in Panorama City. I used to live over there in that area, and I used to walk to the mall. And that's, as a teen, that's where all the teens would kick it. And, you go up there campaigning. All the boys and girls go up there macking and campaigning, The mall is your club when you're underage. When you can't get in the club, the mall is your club. So, we go to the mall almost every day, campaigning for the ladies. And, you get to know the people who work at the mall. There's, people that you're friendly with, people that you're cool with. And there was this one Mexican girl at the mall. I don't even remember her name. But, you see her at the kiosk. She worked at one of those kiosks. I forgot what the fuck she sold, but this was so long ago. But, she was cool. I was courteous with her and just everybody else who worked there. And I remember her telling me one day, she said, "Flex, you're cool. I would date you, but my parents would trip if I dated a black guy." And she just blurted that just out the blue, and I got extremely offended by that. I remember as a teen being very offended by that. Because number one, I don't like you like that. I didn't like her like that. She was just cool, somebody I was just cordial with at the mall at the time. I'm a teenage player. So I got me all types of little fine sisters that I'm dealing with. Way finer than her. I remember she was kind of an average chick. So I had some bad dime sisters that I was fucking with at the time. So I'm like, what, first I'm offended that you would assume that I wanted to get with you. I got offended by that, by her just assuming that I wanted to holler at her like that. Then I got offended that she assumed I wanted to holler, but there were obstacles that I would have to overcome if I wanted to holler in the make-believe scenario. I mean, I'm just getting extremely offended just by the audacity of her comment. And what made me really offended, because I knew what street she lived on, and she's talking about her family would trip, and I'm like, look, even if I did want to date you, which I don't, I'd never looked at you like that. I guess she's one of those people who assume, and she might run into a lot of thirsty niggas. There's probably a lot of thirsty niggas who tried to holler at her just because she was a Mexican chick. But my thing, I got really offended. I'm like, who in the fuck is your family to look down on anybody? I know where you live. I know what street you live on, and it's not Rodeo Drive. It's not Beverly Hills Boulevard. I mean, y'all not balling out. So I wondered, what's the prize for me? So I would date you, but my family would trip on me dating a black guy. Okay, what's the prize for me? What do I get if in this hypothetical situation, if I were to overcome the obstacles to date you, what the fuck am I supposed to be getting? What's my grand prize? A very average Latina chick who I ain't really feeling like that, and a family with 12 motherfuckers in one bedroom? What am I missing here? Because that's how she was living. She had a real big family. All of them stayed in this little bit of apartment, and I'm like, what am I getting? So I got very offended by that. Because in Mexican society, especially out here in LA, they have this thing about brothers hollering at their girls, their sisters and their relatives. They got a thing about that. Now these Mexican dudes, they'll listen to rap and hip hop and listen to the R&B oldies all day. But if a brother is banging their sister or their aunt or somebody, these motherfuckers trip heavy. They trip on that shit. They have a real problem with that. And it's just not in Mexican culture, to be honest. In a lot of Latino cultures, the males, they have a problem with the white Latino women getting banged out by black men. They have the same insecurities as the Anglo white supremacist male. Y'all remember the Cocaine Cowboys? There was the Colombian drug queen pin, Griselda Blanco. Now, Griselda Blanco, she became a drug kingpin, so she wasn't under the thumb of the Hispanic male. She wasn't beholden to the Hispanic male for her daily sustenance. See, a lot of women from these other groups, they keep these women in economic captivity. But a lot of times when these white Hispanics and white other groups of women can get economic freedom, you notice they a lot of times they will be diverse in their dating, just like Madonna. Madonna, all types of brothers was digging Madonna's ass out back in the day. I think Tupac smashed Madonna, but I know Madonna was fucking with Dennis Rodman, a whole bunch of brothers. Look at the Kardashians. The Kardashians, they got their money stacked up, so they've become a brand, so they can date whoever they want to date and still make their brand money. That's why they keep soul holes up in them. But Griselda Blanco, one of the few Hispanic women who was really balling out of control independently of the white Hispanic male. This woman did not need she wasn't under the white Hispanic male. So she was balling out. I mean, she's one of the only ones I know of that was balling like that. Griselda Blanco was a big drug queen pin in Miami and all over. And Griselda Blanco ended up fucking this black dude from the Bay named Charles Cosby. Was a hustler from the Bay. He's fucking this dude while she was in prison. She hooked it up so they can have conjugal visits, and she was fronting this dude some weight, and my nigga was getting in where he fit in. Charles Cosby was hustling the game, and all those Colombians and all those people working under Griselda, they did not like that. They did not like that this brother was digging her out and he was becoming the plug. Charles Cosby macked the shit out of her ass. And if you look at some of those episodes of Cocaine Cowboys, one of Griselda's hitmen, he kept saying how much he didn't like black people. It was one of them. I think his name was Ribby. He was like, I don't fucking like the niggers. I don't like them. I don't like fucking black people. And this motherfucker's 2 shades lighter than me. But, there's a lot of self-hating going on in the Hispanic community. You dig? But that just goes to show a lot of them, they got a real problem with brothers digging out their women. Now, the thing is, the Hispanic male, they'll fuck with some sisters, but it's always on some gutter sex type of shit. They try to do some real weird shit with the sisters, but they ain't gonna marry them like that. That's one thing. They stay on code, which is cool. I don't mind you staying on code. I don't mind you staying on code at all. But the thing is, black folks, we have to understand, where's the camaraderie? Where's this coalition? Where's this black-brown camaraderie that we keep hearing about? We only hear about this camaraderie when black people are trying to get something for themselves. It's always, can we bring some of the quote-unquote brown people along? Can we bring some of the Latinos along too? Can they get some of the shit that you're fighting for? That's the only time it comes up, because when you're talking about Latino issues, our name don't come up nowhere. Our name is never brought up. And we got to understand, a lot of these so-called Latino groups, they have no problem identifying with the white supremacists on all levels.